So now I have some follow-ups on the effective date. We have 1 minute left. I hope you can still bear with me for 1-2 minutes. If ever you have some other questions, please feel free to ask them. What I wanted to come back from last week, and we talk about the effective date. I reviewed some of the information again, but I'm gonna put them once again in this presentation in the October one. So first we talk about period lock, and this is something that we're gonna have in our future versions. It's something that we are working on. So remember, even in the scenario that I was showing earlier, we have a term that it's to start in January 2023. We are now in October. We posted all the transaction up to September. So as you can see, the system allows you to choose October, November, and in this particular case, the slide that I'm showing is even January 2023 because the contract goes on beyond that date. So period lock, what will mean is that the users will only have access to the current period. They will only have access to October, so they will not change. They will not be able to choose November, December. This is something that was highlighted and was requested by some of you, some of our professional users, because users were picking up by mistake something like November and December when they should have recognized the effect in the current period. What does it mean? That instead of having the effect, the increase in right of use asset and liability in October, it will be in those chosen periods. So this is the period lock that it's coming. And then there were some questions on whether we can share a list of possible errors related to effective date, and whether I'm not that inclined to say we have an exhaustive list. Like we do have recommendation, we always have recommendation, but keep in mind that Nakisa has this complexity of terms and conditions, especially to fit your actual needs. So you always need to try, you need to test to see what fits you best. But with that in mind, I have a few types of messages that the system is displaying, the system is helping you with. And the first is not really a error message, but it's an interdiction sign. So once transactions are posted, and remember, for the effective date, it has to be in a period with no posted transaction, then you will not be able to select it, and you will see this no sign appearing. Then for the actual day itself, you can only choose the beginning of your accrual period. So you can't choose, like in this case, something like the 17th or 11th of October. You can always go with the beginning of the accrual period, is the 30th in this case. So this is also not an error message, but more like an indication, something that, and you can't really choose something else. But then I do have an actual error message, and this was something that was pointed out in the last session. But keep in mind, this is a very specific case, and the error message is effective date falls in the posted period range. The event cannot be applied on this date. The message is straightforward. Your effective date is during a period where transactions were posted. For this case, transactions were posted up to the end of January, but in line with the terms and conditions, because it's payment in arrears and the payment date is the 29th, the effective date that the user wanted to choose was January 30th. So a little bit in line with what Tisa was asking earlier, if you have this type of complex scenario, you may want to plan well in advance. So you will need at least 2 months in advance in order to see when you can apply your transaction. Or if that's a possibility for you, you will have to reverse the posted transaction and then you'll be able to post it. So that was my complete follow-up. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, we had, I put a comment here that you were going to talk about dates. This is from Alexandra. And she's saying when we make when we make payments in arrears, do we still need to put the first day of the month and the first payment date, or can we put as last date of the month as first payment date?
Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about this, but just for all of you to know, we want to attack the terms and conditions in the November session, and it's the only topic that we are leaving, so we can talk about that in detail. Short answer for Alexandra, is it up to the actual terms and condition of your contract? Does your contract requires payment in arrears with the first of the month, for example? And the payment in arrears is really referring to just the timing of the payment in a specific day, whether it's at the beginning or at the end of the day, but it will have an effect on your accrual period. And we'll be looking into more details on what can happen if you're choosing arrears or advance, or you have certain payment dates, and we're going to go through some specific examples. But what I can tell you all is that test. Make sure that you have, when you look into your schedules, make sure that your list of payments is matching what you have in your contract. And on that, I'm closing the session here. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I know it's 5 minutes after the end of the session, but I'm looking forward to see you all on the November session and to continue the talk on the terms and conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Mario. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Very helpful again.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Richard.